What's up everyone, it's Kelly and today I've got another swatch and review for you. Today I'm partnering up with Cirque Colors to show you their new Glazed 2025 collection. We've got 6 brand new nail polishes and they're super juicy jelly shades that are inspired by glass candy and fruit. And I have to say, this is definitely one of my all-time favorite formulas from Cirque. I love their jellies, so I'm super excited about these. Before we get into that, if you haven't heard of Cirque Colors before, they are an independent nail polish brand that is based in the US, and all their polishes are 10-free, meaning they are free of 10 of the potentially harmful ingredients that can be found in nail polish. They are vegan, meaning they do not use any animal-derived ingredients, and they're also cruelty-free, meaning they do not test their products on animals. So like I said, we've got 6 new nail polishes in the jelly formula, but one of them is actually a crelly, which means it's like that cream jelly hybrid, and it has a little bit more opacity and more of a milky formula, which I'll talk a little bit more about during the swatch. But yeah, we have some really vibrant colors here. For those of you who are not totally sold on very pastel, springy types of shades, I feel like this is the more saturated side of this season. So let me get into the swatches first, and then we can talk a little bit more about my thoughts on them, pricing, availability, all that good stuff. So roll the swatch footage. So as with all of my swatch and review videos, I am using base coat underneath all of my swatches just to protect my natural nail and prevent any stains. Today it's the Cirque Ridge Filling Base Coat. Starting off with the shade Sherbet Jelly, and this one is a really beautiful peachy orange color, of course in a jelly finish, and you can see on that first coat it really is just a very soft wash of color that I think adds a little bit of brightness to the nail, but it really builds up with more coats. So in 2 coats I got this really beautiful almost salmon kind of color. You could still see visible nail line through it, but it wasn't patchy at all. It was very even across my nail. And then in the 3rd coat I was able to get the most orange color to it, so it ended up deepening and kind of making more saturated that color, which is one of the things that I love about jellies, is that really depending on how many coats you do, you can get a totally different type of look. So I thought this was a lot of fun. I feel like you can still see that soft visible nail line, but it ends up looking really saturated and fun on the nails, and again, there's no patchiness. Then we have the shade Lolly Jelly, which I was the most excited about. This one's a really beautiful pink color in a jelly formula. It's described as a watermelon pink, and I feel like the more coats you do, the warmer toned it gets, which I thought was really fun. So you can see here in 2 coats it has a little bit of a coolness to it, but as I applied that 3rd coat it just got warmer and warmer on my nails, and I feel like it really is like having 2 totally different polishes in one, because just depending on what kind of manicure I felt like doing, I could choose between having this sort of cooler tone shade or having this very warm shade, and it's just so vibrant and saturated. It feels like a perfect spring to summer color, and I just love the coverage of it. Then we've got 2 purples in this collection, but they're both very different. This first one is Pitaya Jelly, and it is a almost orchid kind of color, so it really sits somewhere between being a pink and being a purple color. It has a nice warmth to it. It's a little bit lighter and softer, but it definitely has that saturation, and you can see in 2 coats it's nice and sheer, but it really builds up that coverage so much more in the 3rd coat. It becomes a lot more saturated and vibrant of a color, and I feel like the way that I keep on thinking of these is 2 coats is kind of like the springy version, and then 3 coats is like the summer version, so I feel like you're almost getting 2 seasons with each color here. And then we have the other purple in the collection. This is Açai Jelly, and I would say this is actually the standout of the collection. It's a little bit different from the others, and you can see that this one is actually a lot more sheer of a color. So we've actually got this deeper, cooler toned, dusty purple base, and it really does feel like a more sheer wash of color. Again, it's pretty buildable, and I feel like it does look more opaque in real life than it looks on camera, but you can see it's just such a glossy polish that you can actually see on the top right corner my nail polish remover bottle in the reflection, which I think makes it look more sheer, but it actually ended up giving me a really beautiful coverage. It is still a sheer polish, but I feel like with a darker shade like this, it's nicer to have that sheer coverage, especially this time of year. And then we have the shade Curaço Jelly, and I knew I was gonna love this one too because I just love a blue jelly, and this one is a really beautiful turquoise shade. So again, just a very vibrant color that gets more and more saturated the more coats I put on it, but in 2 coats it looked like a really beautiful sheer manicure. I feel like this type of color would be so perfect for something oceanic or like a pond manicure where you just have like the layers of water with maybe a design in between, but I love this one on its own as well. I think it's such a stunner. I actually did a little combo, which I'll show you in a second, that I absolutely loved. So stay tuned for that. But like I said, this one on its own, just stunning. And then last but not least, we have the KELLI formula, which like I said, is a little hybrid between being a cream and a jelly. So it's a little bit more opaque. It has a little bit of that kind of milk bath formula to it, is how I always like to think of it. So it really does have the softness of a jelly while still having a little bit more coverage, and you can build it up to be fully opaque on the nail. And this one's just a really beautiful, soft green color. It feels so perfect for springtime, and it's also just a very refreshing type of manicure to have on the nails. It has that jelly quality to it while still covering up enough of the nail that you don't feel like you have a sheer manicure on. So another stunner. I love the way it looked in 3 coats. Now, before I show you all the polishes together, I just wanted to show you a couple of quick combos. This first one is Pitaya jelly, and I did a coat of Snow Angel in between, which is the white flaky topper, and then another coat of Pitaya jelly over it. And I love this combination. I love how that purple jelly really softened up the color of those white flakies. And then I also wanted to do a combination with Curaço jelly and then Spotted, which is the black topper, and Snow Angel, which is the white topper. But before I made this into a jelly sandwich, I really quickly wanted to show you just these 3 together because, oh my gosh, I love this combination. It's so fun. It feels like it should be some kind of cool crystal, but once I applied the final coat of Curaço jelly over everything, I also thought it looked really beautiful that way. It almost felt like you were looking at like aquarium gravel or rocks underwater, so I thought that was really fun. And then one last thing I like to do with jellies, which I'll talk about more in a minute, is to combine 2 different colors. So I did 2 layers of Açai jelly and then 1 layer of Lolly jelly over it, and it really just brightened up that color and it made it a little bit more saturated. So I thought that was a fun combination as well. So here are all the polishes together, and I have to say this color story is giving me so much life. I absolutely love it. I think that these colors pair together so perfectly. They're going to be so stunning together in nail art, especially for a gradient ombre look that you can do with jelly so easily. And I think they all just feel so perfectly spring into summer. They're absolutely gorgeous together, but I really do like these shades on their own. And like I said, jellies are just so versatile, so I'm gonna talk a lot about that, but even just wearing these as regular polishes, they're so squishy, they're so shiny, and I just love how vibrant the colors are. But yeah, let's talk about it a little bit more. So yeah, those are the polishes, and as you can see, I really liked them. I have so much fun with jellies. I feel like a lot of people aren't totally sold on jellies, but I think aside from wearing them on their own, they really have so many purposes. I do already have a few videos about jellies, but basically they're incredible for nail art. You can always layer them on top of other colors to slightly change colors you already have. You can do jelly sandwiches like I showed you, and they're also really amazing for doing gradients without actually having to use a sponge and go through the difficulty of a gradient. And there's honestly so many more applications than just that as well. So if you want to see another jelly or jelly nail art video, definitely let me know in the comments. But I really loved these. I love the colors. I think they're so vibrant and fun. I love the combination of these very bright shades in a more sheer formula, because to me, I feel like that's what springtime is. So I feel like this is just a perfect combination for this time of year, but I also think that the colors are going to carry through really nicely to summertime. So now let's get into pricing and availability. All these polishes come in 11 milliliter bottles. They do all have the wide flat brush that has rounded tips, so application super easy, and they retail on the Cirque website for $12.50 USD each. I also do have an affiliate code with Cirque. You can use the code KELLI for 10% off, and you can use that as many times as you want. I also highly recommend their nail care products. Their base and top coats are truly incredible, so definitely check those out if you haven't. But yeah, I'm curious to hear your thoughts on this collection. Let me know in the comments. We can chat about it. If you enjoy my swatch and review videos, please hit that like button. It really helps me out. It lets me know I'm doing a good job. And if you're not already subscribed to my channel, I would really appreciate if you could subscribe. I love you all, and I will see you all in my next video. Bye. I have some really weird would you rathers that I found, so the next few videos are gonna be odd. Would you rather be able to run on your hands or write with your feet? I don't really see that much benefit in writing with my feet since I'm already proficient in writing with my hand. And I am left-handed, so I feel like I have a little bit of the ability of writing with my right hand as well. Like I'm very slightly ambidextrous just because being a lefty in this world kind of forces you to be a little bit. So I feel like I already have like 1.5 hands that I can write with, and I feel like I'm not great at running. I'm actually very slow. But I don't know, am I the only one who still does this? I know a lot of people do this as a kid, but as an adult I still like crawl up the stairs on all fours, and I feel like if I could run on my hands, that would even make me faster. So, you know, when you're running away from the monsters downstairs. But would that be like a handstand, or would that be like a 4-legged run? Because I can already kind of do that. So yeah, but my answer is still gonna be running on my hands. I think that's better. And I would have to obviously have protective gear on because I wouldn't want to break a nail. But I'm curious to hear what everybody else's answers are, so leave them in the comments, and I will see you all in my next video. Bye!